What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. It looks like The Undertaker's returned to his persona, the American Badass. Why would Taker resume an identity he hasn't used in over 15 years? Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at why The Undertaker has ditched his Phenom character for the American Badass. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Now, to understand the return of the American Badass persona, we need to look at why The Undertaker introduced him in the first place. After years of success and a seemingly supernatural character, The Undertaker transformed into a more realistic character of a motorcycle-riding, roughhouse biker character aptly nicknamed the American Badass. The Undertaker recently appeared on Steve Austin's Broken Skull sessions and shared why he transformed his character after years of success as the supernatural superstar who inspired terror in opponents. I always felt like, if I started feeling stale, my audience is probably feeling it before me. You get wrapped up in what you're doing, so the small things, the breaks at the right time, but I don't think I would have made it through if I hadn't changed when I did go to the American Badass. The character I don't think would have lasted through the Attitude Era. Wrestlers such as Chris Jericho have maintained their longevity by reinventing themselves, so it's no surprise The Undertaker chose to freshen things up. Even Hulk Hogan took the unusual step of turning heel in 1996 when he joined the New World Order after years as being a babyface. Could it be The Undertaker feels it's time to freshen things up? After all, he's been playing the Deadman since 2004. Let's look at this and other potential reasons for the change in character. Number 1. The WWE needs all the help it can get. There's no doubt the WWE finds itself in a bad situation as it's decided to go ahead with Wrestlemania despite it being unable to run the show in front of fans. While there will be matches outside the Performance Center, the WWE needs to do everything possible to make the show extra special. Whether it's spreading it over 2 nights, having Rob Gronkowski host it, which likely would have happened regardless of whether it was held in front of fans or in an empty arena, or holding gimmick matches on special sets. As rumor has it, John Cena vs The Fiend match will take place someplace similar to the much maligned House of Horrors match at 2017's Payback pay-per-view. So why not inject some nostalgia by reviving the American Badass? The WWE knows the power of nostalgia, and there's no arguing an appearance by the American Badass would add some novelty to the show. Number 2, it fits the storyline. Perhaps the most important reason for The Undertaker setting his Deadman character aside is because AJ Styles has made this into a personal battle. For whatever reason, the WWE has turned this angle into a work shoot, with Styles attacking Mark Calaway the Man rather than The Undertaker the WWE superstar. These types of storylines can work, but they can also backfire. Some fans think it's ridiculous for Styles to bring up The Undertaker's marriage to Michelle McCool as if it's a state secret, but remember that casual fans may not know about it, and some fans may have forgotten about it. Other fans think the storyline is more intense because it deals with a very real issue, whether The Undertaker still has what it takes to win big matches. Whether or not you agree, the WWE is presenting it as a very intense and personal rivalry. Jerry the King Lawler talked about the storyline during an episode of his podcast, noting how AJ Styles has made personal attacks on The Undertaker, including ones on the Phenom's wife. And that's why I believe that we saw what we saw. We didn't see the working Undertaker, if you know what I mean. We didn't see the Undertaker that you would ordinarily see if it was just a regular wrestling promo or something. I thought this was like the real guy that's pissed off. One thing to remember is that the WWE likes to use social media and podcasts to supplement storylines and provide hints at where things are going, which would be good, but it's the usual way for the WWE to backpedal on storylines it can't figure out, such as the wild card rule. Here you have Lawler stressing that it's not the guy who plays a supernatural character, but the man himself. It's clear this is the direction that WWE is going with, and one of the reasons the American Badass is back. Number 3, it's time to remind the fans he's no one-trick pony. One of the most fascinating aspects of the apparent return of the American Badass is that The Undertaker said he'd never return to the character. While it's difficult to expect wrestlers to stick to promises, especially when they retire from the ring, we think The Undertaker is still dealing with the criticism he received after his disastrous match against Goldberg at 2019's Super Showdown event. As fans know, The Undertaker helped blow the stink off that match thanks to his team up with Roman Reigns at 2019's Extreme Rules pay-per-view, but there are still fans wondering if The Undertaker is tarnishing his legacy by remaining in the ring. There's also the criticism that The Undertaker is living off his reputation, with fans being blinded by nostalgia as Taker performs his usual bag of tricks such as 20-minute entrances, incredible pyro, and the supernatural elements such as the lights going out and The Undertaker teleporting from one space to another. One could even argue The Undertaker has been under fire ever since his WrestleMania 33 loss to Roman Reigns, a sloppy match that showed an equally sloppy out of his prime Undertaker. Although The Undertaker has worked hard to get back into shape, he may feel he can pull off the American Badass character and show he's capable of more than a flashy entrance and exit. Number 4. He's adopting a new style for longevity. The Undertaker just turned 55 yesterday, but there doesn't seem to be any end in sight for his career. While there were similarities between The Undertaker and the American Badass moveset, there were differences, and working as the American Badass may give him a chance to forego moves such as Old School and the Tombstone Piledriver, instead relying on even more brawling and submission holds. The fans need to look no further than Bill Goldberg, a superstar who needs to stop using the jackhammer as he seems to lack the strength to properly execute it. Mark Calaway could see his new character as a means of working a less taxing style while still appealing to the fans. Number 5. He doesn't want to overshadow the Fiend. The Undertaker is known as a gracious opponent behind the scenes and willing to help put over other wrestlers he sees as rising stars. If you saw our video on wrestlers who were supposed to snap the streak, you know that Taker suggested wrestlers defeat him at WrestleMania many years before Brock Lesnar ultimately did. With the Fiend and the traditional Undertaker having somewhat similar gimmicks of a supernaturally powered grappler, the Undertaker's match could overshadow the Fiend's match against John Cena. While the WWE would be crazy not to use the supernatural Undertaker against the Fiend should they ever meet, there's no reason the WWE needs to water things down by having the Undertaker summon lightning and doing his other unearthly tricks for his match against AJ Styles. This might seem like a minor point, but it shows how much the Undertaker cares about helping other talent. Number 6. He doesn't want his last loss to be as the Undertaker. While Taker has been criticized for his WrestleMania 33 and 2019 Super Showdown matches, let's go with the idea fans have forgiven him thanks to his performance at 2019's Extreme Rules. And now ask yourself, what if the match against AJ Styles is for whatever reason going to be the Undertaker's last match? It may seem like a wild proposition since the Undertaker has given no sign that he's retiring, but let's say he has decided to retire. Would he want his last match to be a loss as his much revered Undertaker, or as the more human American Badass character? If Calaway loses at WrestleMania, we can say that Styles defeated a mere mortal, and it could tie in with our next reason. As number 7, it's a way to jumpstart his character. Fans don't know exactly what a boneyard match is, which once again shows the WWE is still booking much of its show on the fly, but AJ Styles hinted that it would be something similar to a Buried Alive match, even saying he had chosen the plot Michelle McCool had picked out for Taker when he passes onto the Great Squared Circle in the sky. Fans could see AJ Styles defeat The Undertaker if the Boneyard match turns out to be a reworked Buried Alive match, as it would be easy for the Good Brothers to help Styles overcome the American Badass. This could set up a rematch at SummerSlam where The Undertaker returns, realizing he wasn't able to defeat Styles as a man, but as a superhuman being, well, that's a different story. This would mirror past matches where The Undertaker was seemingly killed off only to return more powerful than ever. The WWE could present a rejuvenated Undertaker who is once again ready to battle the WWE's best opponents. It would also add some suspense to a rematch with Styles as fans wonder if The Undertaker can defeat the superhuman Undertaker. Additionally, it would further the storyline by showing the Phenomenal One's efforts to get The Undertaker backfiring as he defeats Mark Calaway the Man, only to unleash the monstrous Undertaker. Of course, not everyone agrees with this, as wrestling analyst Tom Collahue spoke about AJ vs Taker's match, noting, really he's challenging the real Undertaker and all that jazz, and what that entails essentially is the black hat and the real tough guy. It's a way of protecting himself more than anything because he's likely to lose the match, and he wants to make sure if that happens, it's to the actual Deadman and not the American Badass or the half and half mix. This is the opposite of what we noted earlier, with The Undertaker not wanting to go out with his last loss being as the Phenom. Now ultimately, the WWE Universe may not see the American Badass at WrestleMania, but things certainly seem to be headed that way. We think that the WWE wants to shake things up for WrestleMania, and the WWE is portraying this as a work shoot between AJ Styles and Mark Calloway, rather than AJ versus Taker, and it wants to set up things for a rematch between Styles and the Deadman at SummerSlam, and it's looking as a way to jumpstart in the Undertaker's Deadman persona, perhaps adding several years to his status as an occasional performer. But there you have it, guys, 7 reasons the Undertaker is back to being the American Badass. Do you guys want him to return as such? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.